I take out my top, I go on TikTok, and my team, once I've done a live, they will edit the videos, they take to YouTube, to Facebook, everywhere. But TikTok is the main platform. When I go there, people coming, some will come and insult. They'll say, put on your shirt. But majority of those that come, many of them write to me and tell me, I went for my mammogram after seeing it. The cancer diagnosis itself came when we knew it was there. Because I'm a believer, I'm a pastor's kid, my mom is a pastor. And the baby we got last is a baby that came against all odds. She came when I was family planning, she came when my husband had a masectomy, so we did not know where she came from. So I knew that she had been sent, and we actually named her before she was born. So her name is Arella, which means messenger from God. So it is actually after her birth that I found a tiny, tiny tumor. I felt a tiny, tiny lump in my left breast when I was feeding her. So I was pumping the milk, and then the left breast was not producing milk. So one time I just pumped a lot and something came out. There was a pop sound. In about 2 days, I felt the lump. And because of a problem that pregnant women or women that are nursing, that are breastfeeding have, many times lumps in the breast are assumed to be milk or milk duct swelling. So this is something that it took the doctors about 6 months to officially diagnose me with cancer. And I had to really advocate for myself and really push, because at that time, my mom, who's a pastor, had seen visions. I was also dreaming, and things were just leading towards this cancer. But doctors were saying it's a fibroadenoma, it is a galactosile. But then on November 2nd, after a biopsy that I really pushed for, it came that it was cancer. So during my treatment is when I realized that patients actually can die from chemotherapy. They don't die from chemotherapy because it is the poison it is, but they die because there's poor diet. That was my experience. My blood levels went low and all that, and I had to miss 2 chemotherapies. And when I later on accepted to do what I was being advised to do, to eat what I was being advised to eat, the levels went back up, and I managed to do my treatment to the end. So during that time, I realized, and I thought about home, and I thought about patients maybe that are in the slums, patients that are traveling from up country to seek treatment in the major towns, Eldoret, Kisumu, Mombasa, Nairobi. Who is providing these meals for them? Who is providing the lean, healthy protein for them? Who is providing them the fruits? Who is providing them the vegetables? And that's the point where I did promise God that whatever the length of time He gives me, whether days, whether months, whether years, I am going to feed cancer patients. So that's what I started doing after my treatment. I did not have a job, so I started cooking chapati and mandazi, and the revenue I got from that is what I use to feed cancer patients.
Nutrition plays a huge role, especially when someone is under treatment. How does it feel when you see someone getting back to life?
Getting back to it feels so good. It feels, and let me tell you, it is painful to say that from the time I started feeding patients, it is only one patient that finished treatment and went back home. All my other patients passed away. The reason being, and this is what has pushed my awareness to a point where I'm doing things that many people think, ooh, how can you do that? It is because many diagnostics that happen, people are diagnosed at late stage. So people will feel lumps in their breast, they don't know where to go to, or they don't have money for diagnostics. So they will stay home until the cancer grows and spreads. When the pain is too much, they will go into late to maybe a dispensary, and then their life is gone. And so the patients that I fed, I found a lot of them at stage 4. The one that managed to finish his treatment, that was in Eldoret, was at stage 2, old man. He finished and we celebrated his graduation, and he went back home. So that is something that makes me sad. I am happy because I can see when they start eating the food, I can see the change in them. Because initially when they start, I normally have to see a picture. There is an application process. I need to see a picture. We have to reach out to their doctors. We have to reach out to the teams, because it's the teams that tell us what foods they want them to eat and what not, so that we substitute. Because there are some medicines that don't need you to eat some foods. So for instance, for me, I cannot eat the grapefruit because of the medicines I take. So these patients that I fed, even though they passed away, a good example is my first patient. I fed her for about 3 weeks, and her doctor was actually reaching out to us and asking, can you take more of my patients? Yes, because the patient started off when she could not sit. But then after those 3 weeks, she was sitting and holding a cup by herself and eating by herself. And even when she passed away, I remember we had an event in 2022. The daughters came to the event and they said the change they saw in their mom, they wished that that food was available earlier on in time. Yeah.
And Diana, as a cancer survivor, you shy away from identifying as a survivor. Why is that?
And I know medically, doctors and people like talking about survivors and they like talking about being in remission. You know, and those are rightfully their terms that they're allowed to use. However, those terms give me the creeps. You know, when I say I'm a survivor, I have survived something. Many times to me, survivor relates to remission, something that has gone back in hiding. It has remitted. And so we are waiting for it to come back. And so that is against my faith and my hope and my belief. Because as a Christian, I don't want to worry about tomorrow. I want to live my present life. And if I get worried of all, it may come back. It may come back in the future. I am not going to be able to thrive in the present. And so I chose to use thriver because I live the moment and I live 100% of each day. And so that's why I opted, you know what, they can call me that at the hospital when I go in there. But when I'm out, when someone asks me, oh, you're a survivor, I just correct them politely and say, no, I'm not a survivor, I'm a thriver.
You made the decision to go topless to raise awareness against cancer. Why is it important for you to do that?
The reason why I decided to do that is, like I told you, when I realized my patients were dying, I could see the development, I could see even the skin color coming back, but it was late at that point and they could pass away. And so I looked at how cancer awareness is done and I realized that there is a lot of beautification of cancer. There's a lot of cover up of the actual pain that this disease causes and the actual look of cancer. You'll find, for instance, breast cancer. I'm a breast cancer thriver. You'll find people wearing t-shirts with pink ribbons, pink clutches, pink. But have you seen behind the pink curtain? Do they know how it looks like behind that pink curtain? They don't know. And so when I decided to go topless, it really, I had to garner inner courage. I had to seek the face of God. Am I going to do the right thing? God, am I going to be naked? And in my mind, and now I tell many people, I have a voice. I have voices talking to me, and I'm normally sure it is God, because many times when the voice tells me and I obey, things happen the way it says. And so when I got that confirmation, I need to do that, I started doing that. And I take out my top, I go on TikTok, and my team, once I've done a live, they will edit the videos, they take to YouTube, to Facebook, everywhere. But TikTok is the main platform. When I go there, people coming, some will come and insult. They'll say, put on your shirt. But majority of those that come, many of them write to me and tell me, I went for my mammogram after seeing you. Women write to me and say, I refused masectomy. But when I saw you, I went and told my doctor I have changed my mind. Because those are people who are late stage from 3 or 4, and the doctor is telling them, or they're still early stage 2, but the cancer has started going to the lymph nodes and all that. So you find the doctors are advising, hey, because this cancer maybe is gone to the lymph node or it is closer to the chest cavity, allow us to take out the whole breast. But our culture, they believe that the beauty is in the breast. Many of them refused. Some of them refused because the husbands think, and this is something I've noticed, it's very funny, men that come and ask me questions there, they ask, how can you have children without breast? Many assume that the breast is part of the reproductive system, which is not. Many assume that if you take out your breast, then all your beauty is gone. You are no longer a woman.
And your sexual urges.
Exactly, it's gone. That is a lie, you know. So when I go up there, the questions like, do you have children? Yes, I have kids. Are you still married? Yes, I do. It is not all marriages that crumble because somebody lost a limb or somebody lost a breast. You know, I go out there to create awareness, to help them build their self-esteem, but I'm also talking to the marriage institution. As a Christian, when people walk down the aisle, they say in sickness and in health. And I've come across a lot of women whose husbands have chosen to leave them because of cancer or because of masectomy. And so when you see me going out there like that, there's a lot of ripple effect. There's a lot of people going for masectomy. There's a lot of people going for mammogram. There are questions being asked. Yesterday when I went to the market, it was not in my plan at all. So when we were buying food, I noticed this group of men staring at me, and they were asking, hey, if these people are here, then this is important, because they're seeing us in t-shirts and we are buying food. And so I said to my team, you know what? We are wearing t-shirts from last month for testicular cancer. Why can't I just talk to these men about testicular cancer? And I just went to the group and I said, I want to talk to you guys. I said, oh, okay, talk to us. And they said, get up the lorry. And they helped push me up the lorry. And just like that, when I was explaining to them about cancer, telling them, see, have you seen a woman without breast? I saw it was not sinking. The moment I lifted my shutter, the number was very few, but they started calling each other. So you can see what that gesture does. Some people will see it at the superficial level because they've not walked our shoes. But many people that I see are people who have been affected directly or indirectly. They will come and say, what you're doing is very important. So many questions came up yesterday. Where can we go to get tested? I was sad. Kenyans, especially of the low socioeconomic class, don't know where to get tested. And we think that is common sense. Just walk into Kenyatta or go to Coptic, ask for that. They don't know. They don't know what the tests are. The men don't know how testicular cancer or prostate cancer is tested for. They don't know the blood tests that are done for that. They don't know where to find it. So when I finished that, that was the question, where do I go to? Another one was, I have this pain in my breast, but I don't have money. So they go to the hospital and it has escalated. So that is what I'm trying to push, for people to get screened, for people to go for their mammogram. Women, even on the video I posted, there's a woman who was writing there, oh, you guys, just wait for October, they will be free. That is sad. I'm most grateful for life because I don't take it for granted. I have little kids. When I was diagnosed, when I found the tumor, the youngest was 2 weeks old. When I was officially diagnosed, she was 5.5 to 6 months. I never knew I would see her grow. She's turning 4 in May. And so the fact that I am able to raise them and instill my own standards of life in them means quite a lot to me. Secondly, the fact that this ministry and purpose in life has come from being diagnosed with cancer. I've been able to give back to the society, to the community. I've been able to look at people's eyes that are full of pain and reassure them that, hey, I know your pain.
That's it.